In this video, you'll see how to use the distributive property. So first, let's look at this problem. 4 times this quantity, 8 plus 3. I know if we think about the order of operations, we would think, hey, let's add these two first. And I'm going to get 4 times 11, which is 44. The distributive property is interesting because it tells us that there's another way we can simplify this expression. And what we do with the distributive property is we take this 4 and we multiply it by both of those terms that are in the parentheses. So 4 times 8 plus 4 times 3. 4 times 8 is 32 plus 4 times 3 is 12. That's 44. We get the same answer. So the distributive property tells us, hey, there's another way you can simplify this expression and get the same answer. It's much easier to do it the first way, but when we get to algebraic expressions like this is where the distributive property can help us. So let's look at this 4 times this quantity, x plus 3, right? With my model here, I have my x, and then I got 3 positive units. So that's x plus 3, and I need 4 groups of this. So this is what 4 groups of x plus 3 looks like. Well, if I've got 4 groups of x plus 3, what do I really have? I really have 4 x's. How many units do I have? I've got 12 total, and they're all positive, so I put a plus sign here. And you can see we can get that answer a lot faster if we just take 4 times x, that's 4x, 4 times 3, that's 12. But now, what if I've got a negative 4 there outside instead of a positive 4? I'm going to use the same idea, use the distributive property. What's negative 4 times x? That's negative 4x. Now, here's where we got to pay attention to the details. What's negative 4 times, and I'm going to say positive 3 because I see the plus sign here, which means this 3 is positive. So negative 4 times positive 3 is negative 12. Because it's negative, I put a minus sign there. So negative 4 times the quantity x plus 3 is equal to negative 4x minus 12. Here's another example. I've got 2 times this quantity, 3x minus 4. Well, these 3 green bars represent 3x. These 4 red squares represent subtracting 4, or negative 4. I've got 2 groups of this, so I'm going to double it. Now, with these 2 groups, what do I have? I've got a total of 6 x's. And what do I have here for my units? I've got 8 red squares, so that's negative 8. So it's going to be 6x minus 8. And notice I can get that just by doing 2 times 3x. 2 times 3x is 6x. And then this is 2 times a negative 4. I say negative 4 because it has the minus sign in front of it. That's negative 8. So 6x minus 8. But what if it's a negative 2 times the quantity 3x minus 4? I'm going to multiply negative 2 times 3x. That is negative 6x. And again, pay attention to the detail here. Negative 2 times, this is a negative 4. Negative times a negative is a positive. So I'm going to rewrite this as negative 6x plus 8. If you have fractions, you just got to be careful with your multiplication of fractions, but it is still the same idea. You're going to multiply the 3/8 times the 1/3 n and 3/8 times this negative 6/7. So 3/8 times 1/3 n. Don't forget to cross reduce. 3 goes into 3 once. And when I multiply straight across, 1 times 1 is 1. 8 times 1 is 8. I need my n there. 3/8 times 1/3 n is 1/8 n. And now I need to take that same 3/8 and multiply it by negative 6/7. Again, cross reduce. 2 goes into 8 4 times. 2 goes into 6 3 times. So 3 times negative 3 is negative 9. 4 times 7 is 28. That's a negative 9/28. So when I write my answer, because it's negative, I'm going to write minus 9/28. So my simplified answer will be 1/8 n minus 9/28. All right, here's some for you to try on your own. For number 1, I'm going to multiply 7 times m, 7 times negative 2. 7 times m is 7m. 7 times negative 2 is negative 14, so 7m minus 14. For number 2, negative 5 times negative 3w, negative 5 times positive 8. Negative 5 times negative 3w is positive 15w. Negative 5 times positive 8 is a negative 40, so I'm going to write minus 40. 15w minus 40. 3 could be a little tricky. Just have the negative sign out there in front of the parentheses. You could think about it as like, what's the opposite of 2y minus 7? It's negative 2y plus 7. I just do the opposite of everything I see there. Or, remember we talked about the understood 1 earlier in this course. So you could think about this as a negative 1 out in front of the parentheses. Well, negative 1 times 2y is negative 2y. Negative 1 times negative 7, positive 7. And last but not least, I got to multiply 2/5 times 3/4 y and 2/5 times 7/6. So 2/5 times 3/4 y. I look to see where I can cross reduce. 2 goes into 2 once, it goes into 4 twice. 1 times 3 is 3. 5 times 2 is 10. I get 3/10 y for my first term. And that's going to be plus 2/5 times 7/6. Again, let's cross reduce. 2 goes into 2 once. It goes into 6 3 times. 1 times 7 is 7. 5 times 3 is 15. It's going to be 3/10 y plus 7/15. And that's how we use the distributive property.